What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is Josh from Florida Spearfishing Channel. So it is September 18th. So this trip was about a week and a half ago. Pretty recent. So this was my first nighttime spearfishing trip. Pretty crazy. We're all using pretty short guns. I think I was using my 32 AB Biller just to be short and be in the rocks because everything's really close in the dark. Um, Through this whole trip, I saw probably 15 to 20 sea turtles all sleeping, which is pretty cool. You saw it in the first clip there. So we are specifically looking for gag grouper. We are out of Homosassa in like 15 to 20 feet. Um, yes, we are aware of sharks. Yes, we have 5 of us in the water. Yes, we all have flashlights and spear guns. So we're kind of prepared for it, but you kind of mentally have to prepare yourself for this as well. um, I did the first couple drops. It was a little spooky. The current was ripping pretty good, so that was fun to sit there and swim against. Not really. It wasn't that fun in the dark, honestly. Um, but yeah, so we're diving in the dark. So we're spot checking holes and stuff. What's what was really odd about this trip is in the dark there are literally nothing else out. Like you might see a little bit of bait fish, but like no mangroves, no grunts, no hogfish. Literally everything has disappeared. The only thing that's really hanging out in holes are gags, and they're really more or less sleeping. So you can see Matt there trying to line up a shot on a fish. um, but yeah, so we're shooting in the dark. I think one of the guys through this trip actually saw like a 7-foot hammerhead, but he said it just came and kind of checked him out and then darted off in the distance. So that was the only shark of the trip. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. A little nerve wracking because this was kind of way a little bit more out my comfort zone. Matt shot the first gag there. He's pulling it up. So that was a nice fish there. Um, so Matt's actually done a couple trips like this already, so that's why I was like, you know what, I'm gonna send it out there with them, see how this goes. Um, I mean, we're only like 15 to 20 feet, so we're not crazy deep. But so going around checking these rocks out, really just trying to get in holes with the flashlight because that's where all the gags are hanging out at. So looking. Not really seeing too much. She probably bounced probably 8 or 9 spots through the night. We were out from 9 p.m. till about 3 a.m. shooting, which was awesome because I had to go to work the next day. So I was running on like 2 hours of sleep. Woohoo! But we ended up, so throughout the night, we actually got a full limit of gags. So you see me do a drop there. We have this one spot that's got like sheets of basically like sheets of metal. You can actually see a couple gags right there. They're kind of piled up on each other, and there are probably 3 or 4 hanging out. That's why I kept the light there for a few minutes or a few seconds. So come back up. Let's see here. I actually didn't get this shot on video, but you actually get to see me recover this fish. That's where I shot my first gag. He was between 2 other gags that were smaller, so I shot him because he was the biggest of the 3 and he was keeper. So I had to work him out of there for a minute, hold myself against this thing, pull him out. Nice gag. He was 25 inches on the scale. Yeah, 25 inches. So he was a solid fish. Got to take that one home. That was my first one of the night. So you'll kind of see a little bit more here in a second. I already hit the surface. I would say the most nerve-wracking thing of this whole trip was not the diving, was not the shooting, was not any of that. It was the part after I shot the gag that I had to swim back to the boat by myself in the dark. Well, only with the flashlight. That was probably the most nerve-wracking thing for me. So once I got over that, then everything went smooth. But there's another sea turtle there for you guys. They were pretty much all over the place sleeping. Like I said, once I got over the nerve thing there, I mean, it was done. I mean, I was set. This was actually pretty fun to go out there at night and just spot check because I mean the gags are just sitting there in the holes. But you do have to be like on alert for sharks to show up. But so I bounced a couple more spots. Not really seeing too much. Like I said, you can see on the light there. There's not a whole lot of life going on. no mangroves, no hogs, no grunts, no nothing. So I think that was one of the other guys was digging under a hole there. It was a full moon, so I don't know if the full moon played a role in, because the gags weren't as thick as what was Matt was saying that night. But the full moon could have played a role in that. We're not too sure. There were a couple storms the day before, so that could have played another role too. Not sure on that either. But so I keep kind of shooting through the dark here. So looking under all these ledges and everything. That was a nice big gag that I shot. I actually saw him on one of my first dives. Didn't get that on video. Went back down, shot him in the face. He decided to come flying out of the hole after I shot him. Luckily enough, he didn't hit me. Went over there, scooped him up off the bottom. And that was actually a 29-inch gag, so that was a nice gag. That was my second gag for the night. That was my limit. We put a full 5-guy limit in the boat, which was some nice gags. But overall, it was actually pretty fun. I mean, in the dark, it was a little nerve-wracking, but I mean, you gotta pull yourself out your shell sometimes. So we do a lot of crazy trips. So I was like, you know what? The dark, let's send it. Let's send it and see. And it paid off. So see me crawl up in the boat here. I think there's another gag laid on the floor from one of their guys that jumped up there and threw it on the floor real quick. But overall, it was a good solid trip. Say nice 5-guy limit. But yeah. Climb up in there. Well, that's my gag that I threw up in there real quick. Come around the back of the boat. Like I said, nerve-wracking. You're in the dark the entire time. You can't see nothing. Yeah. So we had a nice good fish box full, or fish bag full of nice gags. And Matt ended up actually it was like second to last spot this night, pulled out a 32 or 33-inch gag. That was a solid gag that he pulled out. So it was pretty good night overall. I think we didn't see no nurse sharks either. Just the one hammerhead. One of the guys said that he did a night trip probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. They actually saw a tiger shark on one of their dives. Said it spooked him for a minute, but they just kept on diving and had no issues. So. Yeah, so kept kind of doing some spot checks. This is a nice little cave that we have that I'm like my 3/4 of my body's up underneath, trying to line up on a gag. Shoot that. Pulled that out. I had to cover an extra gag to make the whole five-man limit because somebody couldn't get their extra gag. But I'm going to jump out here, guys. Thank you for watching my crazy dives, and I will be posting more trips pretty soon here. Y'all have a good one.
He's fucked up now. He's got a second shaft in his ass. And he started to come out that hole when you shot him or something.